Welcome to the Emisarios Unidos de Luz channel. If you enjoy this near-death experience story, consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. Now let's start with the story. I can't be sure if my NDE wasn't just a dream I had when I was intoxicated one night. I want to believe that I am not crazy, but the things that happened during my NDE make me question my sanity. Also, since my NDE, I constantly receive visual and auditory premonitions forewarning of dire events that sometimes come true. My NDE came to pass as the result of a vehicular accident that occurred while driving home from a night out. I had been drinking that night, and tired, I fell asleep at the wheel. I remember waking up to see the headlights of an oncoming vehicle directly in front of me, and reflexively I jerked the wheel to avoid a collision. Luckily, my car veered off the road just in time to avoid the collision. However, I ended up hitting a fence post in the paddock I drove into. As I lay there, bleeding profusely from the cut on my head, I could feel my body becoming increasingly relaxed as I gradually lost consciousness. Suddenly, I could hear my name being whispered, and when I looked up, I saw a beautiful angel looking down at me. "Take my hand, and hurry," the angel said as it reached out to me. Knowing better than to question its judgment, I reached out to the angel, and as it pulled my hand, I felt a marked disengagement as my physical body released its hold on my spirit body. "We must hurry. There is much that must be done," the angel advised. "Okay," I mumbled, bewildered with all that was happening. The angel kneeled before launching skyward, carrying me along as we traveled at unimaginable speed. As we blitzed through the firmament, I looked back to see deformed entities with blood-red eyes staring at me, eyes so haunting and frightening that they still continue to invade my dreams. "They are tortured souls, souls of the damned who now stand in the ranks of the deceiver's army," the angel said, responding to the question foremost in my thoughts. "Don't worry, you're safe here," the angel reassured. "Where is here?" I asked. "You're in heaven. You have been summoned," the angel replied. "I don't believe in fairy tales, though. I stopped believing in those a long time ago," I said. The angel stopped and glanced at me momentarily. "If that were the case, Danny, you wouldn't have been summoned to heaven. You would have been devoured by the damned," he said. I puzzled over those enlightening words and wondered why I wasn't indeed damned, as I hadn't prayed or attended church in over 30 years. "We're here," the angel advised, snapping me out of my reverie. The angel then led me to a circular-type building, an imposing edifice whose doors appeared to be 100 feet tall. As we approached, the doors opened enough for me to be able to enter. "He's waiting for you," the angel said as I looked back at him. "Who?" I asked. "Go in and see for yourself," he advised. I then proceeded forward, and immediately upon entering the building, I was dazzled by an extremely bright light. "Come closer," I heard a voice communicate to me telepathically. As I proceeded cautiously forward, I could see more clearly through the light with each step, so that before long, I was able to identify a stone throne and what appeared to be a man around the age of 40 seated upon it. "Do not worry, my son. Things will soon become clearer for you," he reassured. As my vision adjusted to the ambient illumination, I was able to distinguish the features of the man seated on the throne. I was able to discern that he had tanned skin, long brown hair, and a beard, and that he wore a white robe. The man exuded such vibrancy that he seemed to embody life itself, and the light he emanated was so bright it was difficult to hold a steady gaze on him for any length of time. As astonishing as his radiant presence was, I felt warmed by it rather than experiencing the trepidation or apprehension one might expect from someone who had lived a life of shamelessly spurning prayer and ritual observance. "Welcome, my son. You have many questions. Be patient. All your questions will be answered in due time," he said, and even as he was communicating, I received answers to my questions telepathically at a staggering speed. "Danny, my son, as a consequence of your choices, you are dead. You have sullied your own body by getting drunk, and you have risked the lives of others with your reckless behavior. This is not what you were created for. This is not what you promised my father when you asked to be born on earth," he said. "Yes, Lord, I have messed up my life, and I understand that whatever the consequences, your judgment will be fair and just," I replied. "You are not here to be punished. Your judgment has not yet come," Jesus advised. "Then why am I here, O Lord?" I asked. "You are here to reflect on what you have taken for granted over the last 48 years, he replied with a sigh of disappointment. Then, through a series of images, I was shown a version of the accident in which I had collided with the oncoming vehicle. In that sequence of events, the impact from my truck completely destroyed the oncoming car, killing the husband and wife, while their daughter was thrown 15 feet from the vehicle and left a quadriplegic as a result of the accident. I saw how I survived the accident but was sentenced to serve 3 consecutive life sentences in prison, that I was to join the damned, and that once in hell, red-eyed demons would tear at my flesh, in a never-ending cycle. Why are you showing me this, O Lord? I cried. You are being shown this so that you finally find the will to change. Your life will be vital to the future of Earth, he replied. I, as dim-witted a person as I was, didn't immediately understand what Jesus was saying. How can I possibly be beneficial to the future? I am a complete screw-up, I asserted. You will deliver my Father's messages to your people, Jesus replied. What messages? I asked, utterly confused. The message is that their world will be cleansed, and with it, they will also be cleansed. Man is destined to destroy man. You have done it countless times before, and you are on course to do it again, he replied. What do you mean that we are destined to destroy ourselves? I asked. Man continues to destroy each other in wars and by killing each other, he replied. I saw projected images of nuclear bombs being dropped one by one, first on Hiroshima and then on Nagasaki. I was then shown other wars where we needlessly used weapons of destruction to kill millions of people at a time. I then saw images of a future that I had never seen. In that future, I watched as a nuclear bomb was detonated in Washington, D.C., and then in Virginia, Florida, and California. From what I was able to see, the missiles were fired from around Japan, but that was only one of the possible scenarios. I was still confused as to how I could help anyone. Tell people what is coming, he said. If war is coming, O Lord, why is it that you do not stop it? I asked. Immediately, I saw Jesus' eyes turn a fiery color, and his face became serious as he became angry. Why should we? Most people have banned us from their hearts and from their lives. We've been banned from your schools and replaced with false idols. Why should we save your race yet again? He replied. Yet again? I asked. My Father wanted to destroy humans, he found one among you, blessed him and his family, and flooded your earth. My Father keeps his promises, and the earth will once again perish with fire and brimstone. Warn anyone that you can, and if they refuse to listen, then they will perish, for I am coming soon. Now go. He replied. Immediately, I felt myself falling before violently fusing with my body. Back in my body, I heard someone beating on the window of my car, asking if I was okay. As my eyes began to adjust, I saw that it was the husband of the couple in the oncoming car. Don't worry, help is on the way, he reassured. A while later, I was taken to a hospital in an ambulance. I was given a blood test to determine my blood alcohol level, and by the grace of God, it registered at 0%. It took me many years to find the courage to write this because I was scared about how people would react. I myself find it difficult to believe, yet I know deep down that my experience was real.